Here comes this disheveled, interesting character with a large cello, and he pointed at me and he said, "What are you doing?" And so I walked over and we started talking, and certainly politically we're in tune. That's for sure. And but more than that, I really sensed a sincerity about Eli, and very deep. He's a good human being. A very deep quality about him that I like. I think his life is here in Salt Lake City, and he lives for his music. He played for me in front of the theater where he usually plays on in the evenings. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
We're in Salt Lake City. I've been here for 12 years. I came here to build violins, or just to learn violin making, and then build violins. And I kind of went back to music 7 years ago, and I've been relieved, tremendously relieved, to be back doing what I'm supposed to do, which is to make a living playing music. Not to play music, but to make a living playing music. It's really an important distinction. If I'm not making a living at it, it means nothing at all. I may as well be dead. I have no interest in music aside from making a living at it. That might seem mercenary or shallow, but that's the way it is. Maybe I'm a bad person. Maybe I'm a shallow person. Probably am. What's the difference anyway? What's the difference whether I'm shallow or not, or deep or not? I am what I am. That's my nature, whatever it is. Anyway, I'm glad I built violins. So it enriched my life. We don't always want to enrich our lives. Sometimes we just want to live and be what we're meant to do. We don't always want to have to be enriched. That's human, right? That's human, just to live. Okay. This is the violin school in Salt Lake City. It's probably the best violin making school in the country. It's the first one in any case. Peter Prier, who owns this school, he's the director of the school. A great man, great violin maker, and trained most of America's violin makers. Probably most of the people working now were trained by Peter. The violin school is an apprenticeship system. You pay, you build his product, which he sells and keeps the money. It's amazing. What a deal. They take care of me. I'm like a pet. I've been playing for 7 years on the sidewalk, playing the cello, playing Renaissance and Baroque music for the masses. I never thought I'd make a living playing Renaissance music. Certainly never thought I'd play it for skateboarders and Mormon families and people going out to dinner. I never thought that at all. But I do, and I make a living. It's kind of amazing. There's also some problems on the sidewalk out there. There are drunks, there are troublemakers, pests of all kinds. And sometimes I get into altercations. And my equipment keeps getting damaged. Somebody robbed me a few nights ago. I'm playing this music and I'm trying to make people happy. And somebody comes over and starts haranguing me. And then they reach in and grab out a $5 bill and start running. And I grab them and give it back, and I'm fighting with them. Meanwhile, I'm holding my cello. This 200-year-old cello in my chin. And I'm meanwhile fighting with this person. And the thing is cranking. And then suddenly the rib splits, and I don't care because I want that $5. Never mind the repair is going to be $700. It doesn't matter to me. I want that $5 bill back. No one's going to take $5, which I busted my butt for. I'm nuts. I'm a maniac. And so they lent me this cello. Language forms us more than anything, I think. Music is a language. It patterns our brains. Ideas. Music is ideas. It doesn't exist as a physical entity. It's what it does to us that matters. It changes us, changes what we are. I feel that I'm educating the public by playing this music. That was the root of all our music, the 18th century music. This kind of music is the root of everything. Rock and roll comes from that. The idea of dominant harmony. You have a home chord, central point. All the different points around that central point have different forces of gravity toward the central point, and the skill of the composer is to keep you away from the central point as long as possible, and cleverly bring you back, surprisingly, at the last minute, before it's too late, before disaster strikes. That's the cleverness of the Western composer. It creates tension, 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 and then, oh, we're home. Before we know it, we're home. That's the cleverness of our culture. That long-held note, ba 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 ba. That's the halfway point. After that, it starts. The whole contour starts tumbling down. He has structures. He has shapes. That's Bach, father of music, father of all musicians. We hate him. Yeah, we hate our father, right? No, that's a joke. That's a joke. He's the source of everything. It's funny because he knew about everybody in Europe at the time, and no one really knew about him. He was amazing. People ask me all the time, play something good. And I say, I don't do good, I do real. It might be bad, but it's real, it's heartfelt. I'm not the best musician, but I'm a musician. I had to learn to build violins right. I really had to get that training. I was already doing that work back home in New York. And when I came here, and I got some of that training, and I got more of that training, and I looked at the other people who were getting that training, and I realized that I was not meant to get that training. The ability to conceptualize dimensionally and work to that specification, to those specific dimensions. I just didn't have that ability. Every single measurement on every instrument that I made is off. But it looks good. It looks good. I'm a good varnisher. But varnish has no dimension.